Anyway, thank you for coming. This is really a big day for Blowing Rock. We think that the Blowing Rock History Walk is going to be a tremendous community asset. It doesn't matter if your name is Green and your family has been here for hundreds and hundreds of years, or you moved here last week, or you're a visitor to town. We think this is going to be an asset for the whole community and something that people will really and truly enjoy. I'm going to bring up my favorite mayor in the United States of America, Charlie Sellers, and he'll be the next to speak, followed by Cathy Robbins.
Well, Tom said I had a little bit of time, so I've got an hour. You know, this is great. This says a lot about our community, how involved our community is. You know, a quick story. All this used to be grown up and unmanicured. The lake, which we called Mayview Lake, was back in the 50s. There was a little train that ran around the lake. They called it, I think, Little Tweetsy. And before that, the lake was actually built to provide hydroelectricity for the Mayview area, primarily as backup for the Mayview Manor. The lake was built, little train ran around it in the 50s. Then I remember as a kid, my parents, a couple of winters, ice skating on the lake. But as I grew older, I noticed that it got really grown up. A lot of debris around the lake. It needed a lot of tender loving care. Well, in the late 80s, the Broyhill family, led by Mr. Broyhill Sr., the Cannon family, and the Baird family worked together and donated money to have the area cleaned up. And that was the first stage of what we now know as Broyhill Lake. The little bridge is actually named after Mr. Baird's wife. He contributed the funds to build the little rock bridge. It used to be 2 or 3 pipe railings, and which under today's insurance regs would not be considered acceptable. But what you see now, what you'll see today, is the next level. The Blowing Rock Historical Society decided to earmark what you're going to see today and worked with the Village Foundation, the community called, the group in town called BRAC, our Parks and Rec, our citizens, all of our citizens, everybody. This was a unified effort to show up the history of our fine town. That's page 1. But I think this says a lot for our community and how people stick together, work together for a common goal. And this common goal, now the only complaint I had with these monuments were the black trash bags that Tom put over them. I mean, John Aldrich. But so thanks to everyone. This takes our community to the next level. Thanks for all the groups involved, all the hard work. And I think now it's time to turn it over to Miss Cathy Robbins.
Thank you all for coming here today. It is so nice to see the support from the community on this project. This is what true collaboration does. The Village Foundation came to the Historical Society and we said, we have an idea, to tell the history of Blowing Rock, because we started out one of our first projects here. We're doing these 4 pillars that you see right here to the entrance and this entranceway to Mayview and to the park there. And I don't know if anybody's had a chance, but I was walking through here on my way here and looking at some of the historical markers here, and the Historical Society and the Village Foundation and the Chamber has helped us, and the town of Blowing Rock. They are absolutely beautiful. The bronze plaques that has QR codes on them so you can get the history of what each of these venues are. There's 21 of them, so I hope you get a chance to walk around and see and learn about the history of Blowing Rock. We live in a very, very special town, and it's just so nice to see all of us work together. I know we have, we're dysfunctional sometimes, like most families, but when we work together, it's amazing what we can accomplish. And we want to thank the Historical Society for taking this and coming up with the plaques and telling the history of Blowing Rock. And the Mayview Park here, we have lots of plans. We are always looking at community projects to help the town, to develop economic development in the community, and it's so good to see all of you here supporting our town, because we really love our town here in Blowing Rock. It's a very, very special place. So thank you so much, and please go look at the markers. There's 21 around the lake.
We're so excited that everybody is here. I've got a couple of things to say, but before I do, I want to introduce John Aldrich. Probably everybody in here knows John. John is one of the key brains behind this whole project, and John took care of the fundraising for this project for us, which was a huge deal.
It's been almost 3 years since I picked up the telephone and called Tom O'Brien at the Historical Society, and I think you were a new president at the time, pretty new, and I said, Tom, you think the Historical Society would have any interest in partnering with the Village Foundation to build a history walk in Blowing Rock? And I said that if you will commit, talk to your board, and if you will commit to choose the people, places, and events in Blowing Rock history that should be commemorated, and if you will take on the task of doing the narratives for the history plaques, which was a huge job, the Village Foundation, I'll talk to our board, and we will commit to do the design and the construction, and we'll raise the money to build it. So what do you say? And Tom said, okay, I'll do it. And the rest is history, as they say. So over the past 3 years, many organizations and people in Blowing Rock, as Cathy says, which is a wonderful place to live, many people have been involved in this project and have supported the project. I think this project is a prime example of what we as a town can do if we work together, if we cooperate, if we collaborate, if we're nice to one another, we support one another. There's no limit to what we can do and what we can achieve to make Blowing Rock a better place, more enriching and more beautiful. So I think it's only appropriate that I take a few minutes and thank the people and the organizations that helped us out to do this. It won't take me but just a minute, and so I don't forget anybody. I want to make sure that I cover them all. First, I want to talk about our partners. The Historical Society, led by Tom O'Brien, has been a fantastic partner to us. And Tom, I hope that you and I will have an opportunity to do more projects together in the future, because we worked well together, and Tom and and his team, which included, you'll hear from Barry Buxton in a moment, who's our unofficial, I guess, maybe official town historian. But he put together a group that did the narratives and chose the topics for the history walk. Second, our other partner, we had 3 of us in a public-private partnership, was the town of Blowing Rock. Now, the town of Blowing Rock, as you know, from time to time, catches a little grief about this, that, and the other. But I'm here to tell you that from the beginning of this project to the end of this project, the town of Blowing Rock could not have been a better partner to us. They provided the land through the TDA, they provided some money, and from top to bottom, Charlie, I drove Charlie nuts, as I always do, but he took it well. To Shane Fox, I don't know, Shane had a baseball game or something, so I'm not sure he's still here. If he were here, I would enlist you to try to keep him in Blowing Rock, because we hated to lose him. But Shane Fox, Jennifer Brown at Parks and Rec, and her staff, Corey Cathcart, and his guys. We bought, as you'll see as you walk around the history walk, you will see that we bought benches. Some of them are brand new. We refurnished a lot of the town benches, so there are places now that you can sit and reflect on the history walk. And all of that, all of the logistics of that, I don't know, don't try it, but those benches are heavy. I mean, they are really heavy. And Corey and his team, we had to move some benches around. I drove Jennifer nuts about getting them refinished and all that. And so the town was really a very big help. So we had great partners. Other organizations in town that loved Blowing Rock that helped us. Well, before I get to that, the people that made this happen, our contractors, our rock masons, and Jim Pitts. Jim Pitts, I know, is here. Jim is a past president of the Village Foundation. He's on our executive committee, and he's an architect and a developer by trade. And so he oversaw the design and construction along with the town. The town helped us supervise construction. And Jim was we couldn't have done it without Jim. Our contractor, Shay Jones, with Ground Effects, his company, was our contractor. And then you will meet our rock stars. Robert and John Arnett, who were the rock masons, we call them our rock stars. Now, you haven't lived, if you think the footings for these columns, that a cement truck backed up and poured those footings, you would be wrong. They poured all those footings by hand, and you haven't lived until you see Robert, who's standing right here, in hip waders up to his thighs in wet concrete, putting rebar in the concrete. They were terrific, and they did a terrific job. So thank you. Other organizations that were involved in this, I've mentioned the Historical Society. They were a donor, a major donor, as well as helping in other ways. The Chamber of Commerce, Charles Harden, thank you and your board for your contribution. The TDA, Tracy, there he is back. Tracy, that's a brown drink, Tracy.
Yes, sir,
It's not 5 o'clock yet. Thanks to the TDA and the board for their contribution. The Mayview Homeowners Association sponsored a column. We thank them as well. The Rotary Club sponsored a column, and we thank them. All 21 stations. Now, you may note that At the first station, we referred to there being 20 stations. That bronze was cast before the 21st was added, but there are actually 21 stations, and they were all sponsored by individuals and families here in Blowing Rock. And I want to tell all of those individuals and families and the other people I've mentioned that the Village Foundation has gifts, a small memento. Find your name up here before you leave and take it with you, just as a thank you. So thanks to all of these people and organizations. Now, 2 or 3 people have come up to me and said, okay, fine. We've done this, what's next? Well, we're talking about things. The town has not approved anything, but we are in discussions with the town, and we would like to take on, if we could, the Glen Burnie Trail. The Glen Burnie Trail, as you know, is very popular. It is also a place that we have accidents frequently. People get hurt, they get out on the falls. Now there are barriers and signs, but you know people. And so we have injuries. So we're thinking about a phase 1 that we would maybe build some decks down at the falls so people could get on the decks and look back at the falls and take pictures. Some other safety features. Phase 2, which will be down the road a little bit, is maybe an expansion of Annie Cannon Park and the trailhead. The town, Charlie and Kevin, if you're here now, is talking about putting some public bathrooms down there, which would certainly be nice. And then phase 3, we're talking about Legion Hill. So phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So that's what we're talking about doing next. Now, I also want, last but not least, I want to thank our Rockstar donors. If you don't know what the Rockstar program is, every year we mail out this our annual fund request. We send little stickers with BR on them in the envelope, and that has been a major source of funding for the Village Foundation. And our Blowing Rock Stars, hundreds of them, caused this to happen, the History Walk, along with our major sponsors. So there are 400 plus people, Jim Claybo heads that up, 400 plus people made this happen just like our major donors. So in a couple of weeks, you'll be getting the new Rockstar mailer. So remember what we're thinking about for the future and act accordingly. So I'll turn this back over to Tom. Thank you, Tom.
All right, I'm going to make my part really quick, and then we're going to have one of my favorite people in the world up here to speak next. I want to tell you the people that made these narratives happen, and it was a ton of work. It was so much work. Is Susie Green here? Susie was part of the original group. Jim Claybo was part of the original group. And then a guy named Dr. Barry Buxton. And I have to tell you, this has been a great project for me personally, but I have to be really honest with you. One of the best parts of this whole thing is I was introduced to Barry Buxton, and we've become close friends. He is such a good guy, fun guy to work with, and nobody knows Blowing Rock's history like Barry does. If you haven't read his book, you're missing out. Award-winning book, A Village Tapestry. Barry's just a fantastic guy. And Barry, would you please come up here and say a few words about Blowing Rock's history, since today is Blowing Rock History Day.
Okay, Blowing Rock History Day, huh? How good is it? Isn't it great? I want to thank our mayor who made this happen. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that declaration. You know, I think that History Day is so important, and I'm going to skip thanking everybody because that's already been done. But I do want you to know that as a native of Blowing Rock, I was born in the old Wallingford Clinic before there was even a hospital here. I attended Blowing Rock Elementary School. Somebody else is waving their hand. Diane Devant back there. Diane Devant Moffat, I apologize. and Blowing Rock Elementary School, Blowing Rock High School. Now my sister Ann, who is in the audience, she's a couple of years older than me. She claims she's younger than me, but she was born in the old Dr. Warfield baby clinic, which was before the Wallingford clinic. So we go back a ways. Now, why am I sharing this with you? I'm sharing it with you because we natives of Blowing Rock, have seen a lot of change in this community. And change is inevitable. We know that. But technology has accelerated all of that change. Technology has enabled people to work from home, so people have been able to move to our fine community who otherwise would never have been able to do that. And let's not forget that the metropolis of Charlotte is just an hour and a half away. Now, those people have fallen in love with Blowing Rock. And what's not to love? The beauty, the charm, the quality of life. I mean, it's all right here in Blowing Rock, isn't it? And we love this place, don't we? We sure do. But Blowing Rock has been discovered. And along with that comes a lot of new people to our community. These new people know very little about the history of Blowing Rock. They love this place, but they don't know much about the men and women who over a century have helped shape this place, who have helped make it an anomaly in the high country, and who have made it so special. So one of the things we're trying to do is to honor those individuals. And, working with, I have to go back to the single person who has driven this whole project, and that is Tom O'Brien. Yes, please give Tom a hand. Tom has driven this whole project. But history is who we are. It's why we are, and it's the way we are. History is so important to every one of us. We might not realize that, we might not think of it that way. But we are the people we are because of history. Aren't we, Chip? We are the people we are because of history. I'm reminded of that Santayana saying, "He who forgets history is doomed to repeat it." And isn't that so true? So as we think about going forward in our community, let's let history shape our decision making. Let's let history help inform what we decide to do with our community. As we work with our mayor and our council and others to try to guide this community forward and retain the special qualities that we all know and love. And John, thank you and the Village Foundation and all of your colleagues for all that you have done to these stone pillars. Gentlemen, these stone pillars are beautiful, native stone, and the bronze plaques are a touch of class. Just amazing. So we can be very proud of it. So I just want to say thank you to everybody involved. Thank you, every individual in this room, for being here. And we have a very, very special person with us today. And his name is Hunt Broyle. Hunt, would you come up here for just a minute? I know you don't want to be recognized, but come on. The Broyle, ladies and gentlemen, the Broyle Family Foundation has done so much for our community. I can't begin to tell you all the things that they have done. Just look to our left, out these windows, or my left, and it goes on and on. Hunt, on behalf of Blowing Rock, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We have many. Thank you for the time.
Barry, thank you. You're so right. History counts. And we are very lucky to have the rich and colorful history we have for Blowing Rock. most of you, many of you are members of the Blowing Rock Historical Society. I just want to say one little plug for the Historical Society. This party was put on by the Historical Society. We have an events committee. Suzanne McBee is in here somewhere. Diane Overcash is in here somewhere. Laurie Trexler is out of town. They're the co-chairs of our events committee. Nobody has better events than we have. These ladies are just spectacular. If you're not a member of the Historical Society, you might want to consider joining, because we have a great holiday party and a lot of other good fun events. Dues are very small, and we use those dues to do things for our community, just like this history walk. We invested quite a bit. So we're happy to have all of you here. Thank you for coming, and go have some fun. Thanks.